What's up, homies? Welcome to another episode of the Homeys Real Estate Podcast. This is your host, Anthony.
I'm Angel.
I'm a realtor.
I'm a lender.
And hopefully together we can give you a good idea of what's happening in this crazy real estate market. We got another really great topic. It's the beginning of the year. A lot of people are thinking about making their first purchase or purchasing another home. And in doing so, or even selling their home to purchase, and in doing so, you're gonna wanna know how to select the right realtor for you. So we came up with about 6 questions that you wanna know how to address when it comes to picking that right realtor. So the first question that we have is, should you work with a family or friend realtor? Angel, I'll let you answer that one.
I don't think it's there's not a right or wrong answer, right? Everyone wants to work with the family, wants to work with a friend, right? Just because it's familiarity. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? Like, I think, not trying to toot our own horns or, try to sound cocky or anything, but if one of our family or friends worked with us, I think we would do a good job for them, right? And the reason for that is because we're out here in the trenches every day working on our business, working in the lending side, working on the real estate side. But there are a lot of those family, friends, or realtors that do this part-time, or they don't have the best knowledge, right, to guide their client and do the best job for them, right? So I'm not saying that a family or friend is a bad thing, but you also have to keep in consideration their experience, which I'm sure if you know them, you have an idea of how they work as a realtor, if they do a full-time, if they do a part-time. But yeah, I think that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good answer, Angel. So there, again, isn't a wrong or right answer to it. It really is a case-by-case basis. If you feel like this family or friend realtor has a tremendous amount of experience, if they referred over people to you to contact to ask how that experience was with them, I think that's a really key point. A lot of people don't ask for referrals from their agent to see how their experience was. So I think calling some of those referrals, asking them what's their communication style, did they have your best interests in mind, were there any bumps on the road, how did they overcome those bumps on the road, and so forth, are going to be some key questions you want to ask when you start to really interview family or friend realtors, because you kind of want to treat them the same as if it was another realtor that you just met at the supermarket who told you, hey, here's my card, let me know if you want to buy or sell, right? You want to still go through that same process of interviewing them, making sure they're a good fit for you.
And one thing to mention too is potential conflict, right? Between you don't want to. That's always one thing scary with me when working with a family or friend. It's like you don't want them to ever think that me on my end that I'm not doing the best by them, right? I'm always going to do the best by all my clients, whether it's a family or friend member. But of course, it's a little bit more sensitive when it is a family or friend. So that's something also to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. The second question we have here is, should you speak to a few realtors before deciding who to work with? I would say absolutely. I would say you should absolutely interview at least 3 agents. Identify what style they have. Are they a buyer's agent? Are they a seller's agent? Do they work for a team? How do they communicate with you? Do you prefer for it to be text, email, phone? What are their processes, systems in place to help you get your home sold or help you find the appropriate home? So I think you should absolutely interview a couple agents. And then in interviewing those agents, also, just like we mentioned before, ask for those referrals. Contact those referrals if you feel like it's needed and see, how their experience was. And then I think that's going to help you make that better decision. Angel, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree with that pretty much with everything that Anthony said. And also, too, not only the systems and how they run their business, but their personality type, too, right? So one realtor may have a little bit of a better system, but if they don't fit your personality type, then also too that might not be the best fit. I think that's very, very important, working with someone you feel comfortable with, because they're literally going to be with you every weekend seeing properties, so you're going to spend a lot of time with these people. So someone that you can get along with is very, very important.
Absolutely. So the third question that we have is, does working with a team make the most sense for someone looking to sell or buy? I'll go ahead and answer this question just because I do run a small real estate team. And I would say it absolutely helps if you have a team. The reason I say that is because there are going to be more people on the team. That means more availability. That means there's more people that specialize in a specific niche. And that means that because there's more help, you should have more help in getting your home sold or finding the appropriate home for you. So some things that I would really pay key attention to when you start to look for the right team is someone that has the appropriate business systems and processes in play. This is really, really important. I don't think a lot of teams take this into consideration. The reason I say it's important is because let's just say you have 4 realtors on a team, right? Not every realtor is going to treat their client similarly. There's going to be one realtor that treats the client one way, another realtor that treats the client another way. And the only way for every client to get a very similar experience is for there to be a very detailed business manual, process, systems, so that every client gets treated the same, so that every client has the same experience, and so that every client ends up being a repeat client, a client for life. So I think that's a really key thing you want to look for when you start to interview teams. Like, hey, what are your processes? How are you going to help me get my home sold? How are you going to help me find the appropriate home? Is this system the same for everybody? So I think that's something that you really want to look at when you start to look at teams. Now, if you look for an individual agent, that's absolutely okay. Just know that they're not always going to be available for you. It's going to be impossible for someone to be there for you 24/7 if it's just them on their own. Like, they're going to have to sacrifice every weekend and all that stuff. So that's completely okay. There's a lot of individual agents that do well and know how to manage it all. It's just, I don't know how they do it. I'm thankful that we have a team that, I'm able to take weekends off. They're able to take weekends off, and we can step in each other's place. Angel, how would you answer that?
Yeah, kind of what Anthony said. I think having a team just makes it a little easier for the team, right? And easier for you guys because there's multiple people that could help out. But individual realtors as well is not. It's not like a no-go. Definitely great individual realtors out there that can make it happen. That, I know realtors who do a crazy amount of volume just by themselves on their own. They're showing the properties every weekend. They have multiple clients, and they make it work, right? And at the end of the day, as long as you feel like your realtor is working for you and they're always doing, getting you out, showing properties, making your offers competitive, doing what they need to do, it shouldn't really matter too much if it's an individual or team, right? As long as you feel like you're getting serviced as the client.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like Angel said, there are a tremendous amount of realtors out there that do more than teams. And what I found is that those realtors have very clean business systems. They're very organized in order to help, facilitate so many transactions at once. So again, it really does go back to those business systems, making sure that, they are servicing you as if you were any other one of their clients, right? And that every client gets the attention they deserve. The next question that we have is, does working with an experienced realtor play a big role in getting an offer accepted or selling your home for top dollar? Angel, go ahead and answer this question.
Yeah, of course, it's gonna have a very key role, and this is kind of goes back to that team, right? It's not bad to work with the newer agent if they have someone above them, right, that can help them. That's gonna be that experienced realtor that is gonna guide them step by step on what to do. We all started at one point not knowing exactly what we were doing, but at least for myself, and I think for Anthony as well, we had people we could go to and ask those questions to make sure that our clients were getting serviced correctly, right? So it's not necessarily that the realtor you work with has to be experienced. Of course it's better, but if you are working with a newer agent, just make sure that they have someone above them that you could even talk to, right? If you feel really comfortable and you really want to work with this new agent, that you can talk to their mentor or whoever's helping guiding them, just to make sure that you feel that you're going to be taken care of correctly.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Angel. So if they're really close to the broker, absolutely, that's amazing. You can reach out to the broker. Everyone has to start somewhere. So giving that person that shot's an amazing thing. It's just, yes, you want to make sure that person is having someone on their corner that has that experience. That way they can be there for you in the case you need them. I'll go ahead and add a couple more things. So I would say absolutely, working with an experienced realtor does help in getting your home sold for top dollar. There's a lot of things that I've learned over the years that has helped me position my offers in a way that makes it easier to get accepted. One of the things that I've learned is do not be a ghost offer. Now, this is advice for both realtors and for buyers. Do not be a ghost offer. What's a ghost offer? A ghost offer means someone that just submits an offer and never follows up on it. They just submit an offer and don't even text the agent to confirm they got it. Never call the agent to let them know this offer's coming down the pipeline. Never did anything to let the agent acknowledge the offer was even submitted. Those ghost offers, first of all, they're going to get overshadowed by the agents that are actually actively trying to sell, are actively trying to get their offer accepted, right? So you want to make sure that you're not a ghost offer, right? And this is something that comes with experience. You'll learn how to ask the right questions when writing an offer. So I have, for instance, business systems in place to help me write questions or ask questions to the realtor, the listing agent, before I submit an offer to help me position my offer to have a better chance to get accepted. Another thing that comes with experience is learning how to work with the contingencies. There are 3 buyer contingencies. If you know how to work with them, shorten them, or read them in a way that makes your offer more accepted. For instance, let me give you an instance. Someone who is a brand new agent might accept an offer for a home, and they're selling the home for $500,000 because it's higher than the next offer at $480,000. But the offer at $480,000 removed the appraisal contingency. So as the agent that's listing the home at $450, because the home's originally listed at $450, you have an offer at $500, an offer at $480. The offer at $500 has the appraisal contingency in place. It's maybe an FHA offer, right? The offer at $480 is conventional, 20% down there. Remove the appraisal contingency. That means no matter what the home appraises at, you're going to be able to sell it at $480. An inexperienced agent might advise his client and be like, hey, we got an offer at $500. It's higher than the $480. Let's just go with the $500. No, that might not be the best option, just because the home might not appraise at that $500. And if it appraises at $450, you are now stuck with the $450 price unless that buyer can come out of pocket with $50K, which a lot of buyers will not do. Whereas if you take that offer at $480, you now are securing $480 price point because of the appraisal contingency. So that makes it a lot safer and a lot safer bet for your seller as opposed to risking it with an appraisal. So this is something that you want to take a look at with more experience, right? Like looking at those contingencies, making sure you're not a ghost offer, submitting a very clean offer, submitting clean offer packets, which is another thing that I've learned to do over time, right? So when we submit offers, what we do is on the first page, we have a custom page that says, here's a recap of our offer, and here's why agents like to work with us. I think every agent should try to have something like this on top of the whole entire offer, just so it can stand out. Makes it easier for the listing agent to get that recap. So yes, 100%. I do believe working with an experienced realtor will help you get your offer accepted. But if there's someone that's a newer agent and they have someone with experience on their corner and by their side, if you feel comfortable with them and they fit your personality style, absolutely work with them. So what are some non-negotiable services that your realtor should offer when selling your home? Angel, what would you say?
Number one, and I think this is something like a family realtor or a friend realtor or a part-time realtor that they're not going to pay for, is photography, right? They're going to take their iPhone out, take pictures, ugly pictures, not even show the true value of your home, right? And the potential of your home. I think that's number one. And then number two, I'm going to keep it simple for me, is just willing to host open houses, right? making sure to get foot traffic in there, get people looking at the property, get multiple offers on it, and hopefully create a bidding war to get you top dollar for your home.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one, Angel. It's crazy how many photos you'll see on Redfin, Zillow, the MLS with someone who looked like they took a picture with a flip phone from, 2008, like a razor. Come on, like I could barely see anything. Or like the things that are in those rooms, like I've seen like people's heads, I've seen people's fingers like on the camera. I'm like, come on. Like if you're selling a home and someone trusts you to sell that home, you better spend a couple $100 at the very least on some good photography, right? We're not even asking for videos or drone photography, just regular photography on the inside. So that's 100% the number one, I think, most important thing is photography. With the age of the internet, homes just on the internet with good photography are going to sell, especially right now in the market. But then there's other things that I think you should do to help. Some other things that you should do that are non-negotiables to get that home sold. Number two is, have a lot of availability, right? Make sure that you're there for your seller. Make sure you can advise that seller, negotiate for that seller. Make sure that you're available to host open houses. Open houses are very, very important, just like Angel mentioned. That's the best way for people to get a lot of foot traffic to see your home, because it's really difficult to have someone submit an offer on your home without actually seeing it. So the best way to get people to see it is via open houses or private appointments. But again, it's really difficult to have a lot of private appointments at once, especially in this day of age. I would say some other things that you really want to, look for are someone that is willing to, do some of the active prospecting. Active prospecting means hitting the phones for you and trying to see if there's anyone they can find in the area that can be a buyer for you, or door knocking the area to see if there's any neighbors that are maybe renting in the neighborhood that are looking to purchase, right? I think that's something that's really key. And then lastly, transparency, something that I think gets overlooked a lot, but it's really, really important. Communication is key when you're working with a realtor. If they're not being transparent with you as to how many people are seeing the home, as to how many offers they got, where those offers are at, that's really, really important. And it could be a red flag. For instance, some agents, and I'm not saying not all agents, but some agents, if they are representing a buyer and it's their listing, believe it or not, and if they have another offer in hand that might be a better offer, they may not show it to you. And I'm just going to say, it happens sometimes, right? There are some bad actors out there that aren't following their fiduciary duty. They want to double in the deal, make a bigger commission. So you want to be cautious about that as well, which is why transparency is really, really key in real estate, and which is why it's really important, like I mentioned before, to interview your agent before you start to work with them, just to make sure that they haven't had any bad experiences with any past clients or so forth.
And social media, one, I know you didn't mention that right now, but I think social media, put out your property on social media, run maybe some ads. I mean, you could speak more to that, but definitely, especially with Anthony and his following, he has thousands of followers on social media, so that definitely helps get more eyes on the property.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say social media is very, very important, but not as important as some of these other things like open house photography and then active prospecting like door knocking and cold calling. What are some non-negotiable services your realtor should offer when searching for a property? So now on the buyer side, Angel, what would you say?
Number one, right, if you're looking for a property, you need to have your realtor there with you, right? Availability, making sure that they can be out there showing your property or looking at property with you, excuse me. I just did an open house this weekend. I can't tell you how many, maybe these people were lying, but I would say at least half the people, either they came with their realtor, majority of people came with their realtor, or there was the other half that said that they already have a realtor, but the realtor wasn't available to come with them today. And it just blows my mind how many, I know some people just say that just so they don't get bothered by the realtor there, but some of them bought, some of them bought their realtor's business card, like, oh, he can't make it, but here's his business card. So what are you paying that, or you're not paying for the realtor, but why are you working with that realtor if they're not even out there with you looking at properties, right? It blew my mind. There were so many clients that just the realtor wasn't even with them, and they're looking at properties on their own. And then the question. I'm sure they have questions that they would want to ask in that moment with the realtor, like, oh, what about this fireplace, or is this thing up to code, or can you ask the realtor about something about the property, right? That they can address in that moment because the realtor isn't there. It's very important that your realtor is there with you during those showings.
Yeah, I think that's a really key point right there. Is number one is availability. That is the most important thing aside from communication that you're going to be looking for when you're looking to buy a home, especially right now, considering that it's going to take multiple tries, probably multiple offers, maybe even multiple months to find the right home for you. And you have to actively go out there and look at property. And if your realtor is not available to do so, that's going to limit the opportunities you have to see homes. So yes, availability is very important. Showing property, right, that making sure that they're available as much as possible. I know that individual agents may be less available than teams, which is why I favor teams. Is why we created a team that we always have availability within one of our 4 to 5 agents. Advising is very important. Just advise them as to how to submit a very competitive offer. Negotiating for you on your behalf using your experience, and then obviously communicating transparently, like I mentioned before, right? Letting them know, hey, the realtor told me that there's 5 other offers on the home, and they told me that they have an offer north of $700,000. In order for us to compete, we're probably going to need to be, north of $700,000 as well, 705, 710, something like that, right? Make sure you're all on the same page. But yes, I think these are some non-negotiables. I wouldn't say anything's more important than availability and showing property, though. And these are all services that are absolutely free. Again, you aren't paying for your buyer's agent. The buyer's agent's paid through the listing agreement. So it's not like, oh, I'm inconveniencing them because they're not making money. No, agents sign up for this. They know that there's a probability that you might not find a home and that they went out and showed property. That's okay. It's part of the business. That happens. Just know that you should never be paying for any one of these services. You don't pay for anything until you're in the escrow process, when you start to pay for the home inspection appraisal, and then at the very end when you submit the rest of your funds. Angel, are there any last words here about any of these things that you wanted to kind of touch up on, or not really?
Yeah, I think just very, very important to talk to a few realtors, right, before you decide on one, and just really work with that one that you feel like you connected with, right? Because purchasing a home is a very probably for sure the most costly thing you're ever gonna do, right? Mm-hmm. The biggest investment you're gonna make in your life. So making sure you have the right person in your corner. Ask around with family and friends too. We didn't mention this, but family and friends who they've worked with, right? They probably know someone that they can speak highly of, a realtor that they worked with when they purchased their home, or when they sold their home, that they felt like did a good job for them. And that's a good way to try to find a realtor as well, is through just asking around, and then just talk to a few of them and see which one you feel meets your standards.
Absolutely, that's a really good point. I think another thing that you can do to help you start that search is also look, like, if there's a realtor that you see is providing you educational content, is trying their best to inform, I think that might be a realtor to consider interviewing, just because you've learned already quite a bit for them based off of those videos. You can already have a sense of their personality. You can have a sense of what they're doing to.
Anthony's talking about himself.
No, not just ourselves. There's a lot of other realtors that are educating via social media. So if you find one of those realtors that are educating, because there's a lot of realtors that are putting tremendous content out there to really help you out. If you feel like you're connecting with them, I would definitely reach out to them, give them a shot. And then I think these are 6 really important questions to help you start that search, find the right realtor for you. If there's anything you guys ever need, homies, you can always reach out to me or Angel. Again, we're always here for you. And with that said, I want to wish you all the best. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Hey, homies, it's Anthony. This podcast contains my opinions and is for educational purposes only. It does not guarantee any projections and should not serve as a basis for any purchase or sale in real estate.